Yo, listen up. So you want to snipe like this in Black Ops 7, but you need better settings. You need more frames. You need a good sense. You need a better controller. All that fun stuff. We'll cover everything you need today for you guys to snipe like this. Sometimes it's not you, it's the settings. So let's lock in and get you right. Yo, what's good, all peppers? Through settings, we're gonna go from the top to bottom, from controller to keyboard to graphics, audio, interface. Keep in mind, you're gonna have to test out some settings yourself because some graphics cards, some processors, all are different, and including if you're on console as well. Everything should be timestamped in this video, so please feel free to jump ahead to whatever segment you need to be. And with that being said, let's jump into the first settings tab, which is gonna be on controller. Off jump, you probably already noticed that my text looks a bit weird. We're going to get into that and how to be able to fix the kill feed later on. So first and foremost, I use a Cinch gaming controller. So I'm currently sponsored by Cinch Gaming. I have a digital tap bumpers and digital tap triggers with 4 buttons on the back. I have my right stick Hall effect, and I also have it raised pretty much at the highest point a thumbstick can go. Digital interface, meaning it's mouse clicks on the buttons up front, rumbles out, and that's simply how I perform. Code Zephy at checkout. If you do, let me know in the comments and or tag me on socials. So I play on tactical flipped. I like to crouch with my right stick and shoot with my bumpers. I use a 2.8 cents. If you're on old gen Call of Duty, if you want to understand how to use this or what this translates to, is roughly around 15 to 14 cents. I find that sense best for me, so tweak that as you like. Keep in mind, a lot of these settings, I'm not saying these are the best settings for the controller, because you have to remember, you guys are different players than I am. You have to go by with what feels good to you by the end of the day. So, controller vibration, we have that off. Deadzone inputs, I have it 2, 70, 1, and 99. My right stick minimum is at 1 because I don't have any stick drift on my right stick. Hence why we have the Hall effect stick on the Cinch Gaming controller. My left stick minimum, I have it at 2 because I get stick drift in the menu and it kind of gets annoying. But keeping this max at 70 allows me to be able to sprint quickly and being able to reach max speed by flicking my thumbstick all the way up. Moving over to the aiming tab, we got the sensitivity multiplier all at 1. I didn't mess with that. Look inversion, didn't mess with that either. For this Call of Duty, I've been rocking linear, the same thing as I did with Black Ops 6. Some of you guys may like dynamic. The difference between the two, linear is responsive at all directions on your right thumbstick. Dynamic is only responsive left to right. And now moving on to the slope scale, I'm at 1. I don't mess with that. Custom sensitivity per zoom, 0.8 when a red gun, because red guns use the red dot sight, and I have more control on the ADS sense low zoom. All right, target assist is on. Well, I did not mess with the motion sensor function behavior. Now moving on to movement, we got sprint assist on. I highly recommend you guys to have sprint assist sideways and backwards on as well. If you're not used to that sprinting left, right, back, you're missing out. It's a ton of fun and it just changes the entire gameplay. Mantle assist, have it on off. Crouch assist off. I don't like to mess with any of that stuff. A lot of this really feels like Black Ops 6. So if you've been watching me from Black Ops 6, just know a lot of these settings are very similar. I like to use hybrid so that way I can slide and dive at the same time instead of being just capped out. If you're not a fan of the diving movement, then you can simply just do slide only. So, airborne mantle, have it on, sprint restore on, always, wingsuit activation, manual, wall jump activation, press. I preferably like to jump on objects when I want to and bounce off of them when I want to. So, keeping this on press is personally the best for me. Keep in mind, there is a very, very slight possibility I may change the settings later on in the future, but as of right now, postseason, season 0, this is what I'm rocking. Movement advanced settings. Toggle off, single tap sprint. This one should be on free. I accidentally missed this one. Spring door bash is on. All right, now going over to vehicle advanced settings. I did not mess with this. There's like literally no vehicles in multiplayer. So now going over to the combat tab, I didn't mess with this. If anything, I probably just changed the weapon mount activation to ADS melee because I seriously don't like mounting on anything, especially on a game like this where you want to play very aggressive. I changed my weapon mount exit to instant in case if I happen to do it, which is going to be rare, but everything else kind of just kept it on default. Same thing with the scoreboard, and then overlay advanced settings, kept it at this. All right, so quite a bit of controller settings there, but we're going to go over to keyboard and mouse. I'm not going to go over this too much, just in case if anybody's curious. When I do play on keyboard and mouse, I do play on a 7 mouse sensitivity with 800 DPI. And surprisingly enough, I like to change my low zoom to 0.8 on the mouse as well. my brain just somehow clicks that way. It's very strange. I don't know if I would recommend it. And then for my keybinds, I like caps lock to dive and then control to crouch. I don't like using C on my keyboard because if I want to move right and crouch at the same time, I can do that. And having C as crouch wouldn't allow me to do that. It would make it very uncomfortable. I don't think I mess with any of the other settings here. And like I said earlier, whatever you guys want to be able to change, by all means, this is all personal preference. But yeah, I think I'm not going to go talk about this for too much longer. A lot of this movement and combat settings, I kind of kept it the same as my controller. So again, have it all on this settings. So yeah, I didn't change much here again. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it for keyboard and mouse. Now going to the graphics, this is the most important part. Keep in mind, I have a 4070 Ti Super. I play on 1080p, 240 hertz. You're going to have to mess with the graphics settings a lot to see which one works best for you. So, NVIDIA Reflex Low Latency, I've noticed that on works better than on plus boost. Gamma and brightness, keep it at 50. Have the VSync and the menu and the gameplay off. Custom frame limit, I have this on custom. You can uncap it if you like, but I like to cap it when I'm in the menu so that way I don't use too much of my GPU. And plus, I don't even go above 300. I still need to upgrade my CPU there. Focus mode on 0, HDR off. Make sure you have that copied. Now, quality. This is where it's going to get a little bit tricky. Graphics settings, you want to have it on custom. Go to upscaling. NVIDIA DLSS is the best one. There is no input delay with DLSS. If you are playing the old CODs, yes, you will get input delay, but they changed things around recently. Ultra performance, sharpness, I like to keep it at 75 and then have this on transformer instead of CNN. If you don't mind a very slight input delay, you can increase your frames by a ton by having NVIDIA DLSS frame generation or AMD FR3 frame generation on, whichever it is according to your graphics card. The best way to be able to look at that is if you have the NVIDIA overlay, hit the Alt-R on your keyboard, and on the top right, you'll be able to see how many frames and what your latency is in game. So as you can see, I have a 3.8 millisecond and a 10 millisecond delay. I believe that's on my graphics card. So let's scroll down. I have these two on low. The reason why they're starred is because if I want to be able to change my graphics for thumbnails, I put this on high and then put this on ultra. I'm sure there's other settings I can mess with, but depth of field off, low, very low. Pretty much keep this all at a bare minimum. It's not going to make your game look insanely bad. Don't worry, you'll be able to see still, but that's what I recommend. Now, for a field of view, on the view tab, pro players use 103. I like 103. It's great on controller. It's great on PC, but between 100 and 110 is your best option. If you're keyboard and mouse and you feel like 120 is the move, by all means. Technically, there's not a wrong answer. ADS field of view, have this on affected. If you're using iron sights on the sniper, you can change this to independent. You want your weapon and vehicle field of view on 90 and wide here. Having your weapon on wide makes your weapon look smaller and allows you to see more of the map. Motion blur, have both of them on. They're disgusting. And then to be able to decrease the camera movement with all the explosions going on, keep this at 50%. And that is the settings for graphics. That was quite a lot, bit overwhelming, but now let's go over to audio. Audio, this one's going to be tuned based off of your PC. I have mine at 40. Don't need the music. Don't care about that. I do have my recording separate. Keep in mind, I do have a dual gaming PC setup. So I have my microphone, my game audio, and my game chat on 3 separate tracks. I have enhanced headphone mode on. I don't know if I would recommend this. I'm just testing the setting out. So if you're looking for any footstep audio cues in this settings video, I'm going to let you know right now that this is not the video for it. I use IEMs, and all I really need to hear is anything that's close to me. But I will tell you one thing, that make sure you go down in the settings on audio and have reduced tinnitus sound on. It's that ringing sound that you hear when you get flashbang. All right, so now for the voice chat tab, we have the voice chat volume at 100. I have it that high just for content. So again, tune to your own likings. Everything else here, you can copy if you like. Now, going to the last important one, which is interface. If you're only a controller player, make sure that you have your menu prompts set as controller. So that way it doesn't automatically switch to keyboard and mouse on accident. I have mine on automatic because sometimes I go back and forth between controller and keyboard and mouse. Tutorials, I should be having that on and off. Tooltips off. Telemetry, I have FPS counter and server latency on the top left there. So if you're looking for that, that's how you get it. And then going over to readability. So if you're looking for your kill feed to be a bit bigger and or the settings text to be bigger, make sure you have your menu text size. This is on larger. And then for your color customization, you want to go down and change color filter to filter 2, and then change color filter target to both, and crank up world color intensity to 100. that will help you see things better in the game and also have your game pop. Now, gameplay HUD. I have it on standard. Standard, if you like Black Ops 2, you can use the classic layout. You can have the score of the game on the bottom left instead of right next to your radar. I like it right next to my radar because I don't have to drag my eyes across the screen to be able to figure out if we're winning or losing. HUD widget visibility. I have compass off. Sometimes it just comes back and to turn us back on. It's very frustrating and annoying. So for HUD bounds, I like to have my HUD bounds close as possible to the center because my radar on the top left will be closer to the center of my screen, which is typically where I normally look at. So less dragging on my eyes looking from the center to the top left makes my job a lot easier. And for the rest of the settings for gameplay HUD, this is what I have. I recommend taking off crosshair lines. I don't know if it's a bug in the game or they just designed it very weird this year. The crosshairs show up on the center dot. I don't like it. It's weird. So I just keep the crosshair dot on. Now scrolling down, advanced motion control. I didn't mess with any of this. That's pretty much it for the settings. Now for class setups, these are the attachments for the VS Recon. Feel free to copy the build code. If you want to pause the video at any given time, you're more than welcome to. Make sure that if you want to get this MFS R-Stop handguard, you prestige this gun at least once. Now for the XR3 Ion, the build code's right there. If you want to change the optic to the regular scope, you can do that. Or you can change the scope to the Prisma Tech Turbo 4X. Those two I definitely recommend. And then if you do the regular scope, just use the tripped brake. Do not use the Prestige attachment. It's going to slow down your ADS and the charge time. Now for the Shadow SK, there's a couple of attachments you're going to have to switch out real quick because I don't have this thing maxed out. I'm working on a video at the moment. But for the muzzle, you can switch this out from the suppressor and put on the Eclipse 762 brake if you don't want to have a suppressor on it. For the barrel, you could use the Strand barrel in the meantime, but if you can get the 17-inch thrust barrel to increase that ADS speed, I highly recommend that. And then for the stock, I would recommend using the friction stock if you don't have that in the meantime. And if you want to increase your ADS speed even more, you can change your Riptide to the Rapid Gulf Fast Mag 2. I think I'm going to keep it at 9 just so that way I can hit more clips. Now for the last one, the little bonus one, we're going to do the Warden 308. These are the attachments I'm rocking. If you want to get this Prestige attachment, you got to make sure you Prestige it at least once. This is a snap trigger that eliminates the delay that you have with this gun. And make sure you have the damage barrel on because without it, you're more than likely going to get hit markers in the head. With that being said, if you guys enjoyed the settings video today, if you do me a great favor, drop me a like and subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. I hope you learned a lot of things and I hope that the settings helped you out to get more frames. And overall, your game just feels and looks so much better. We got more videos on the way on Black Ops 7. So be sure to stick around and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.